Man, have y'all ever wondered why people keep talking about Black America? Why people keep talking about Black people in general? Man, it seems like we can't catch a break no matter what we do. But in today's video, we got a very special one. Antonio Talks is debunking why Black America is like that with receipts. Because I be coming with receipts in my videos, but something I've been seeing in the comments recently are a lot of people are like, oh, where are the receipts for the things that you're talking about? They are in the video. You just aren't watching far enough. You just are not watching far enough. Some of y'all do not have the attention span, and you know what? I was gonna say that's okay. That's really not okay for real. Because people in the comments will say I've said something, but in actuality, this is what I said and this is what I was talking about. They just didn't look further into the video. Anyway, let's get into this. Let's go.
So today we're gonna be debunking another anti-Black propaganda video. For some reason, man, my timeline on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram is flooded with this type of content. So right here we have a channel named Basic Logic. 3 days ago he dropped a video titled "Why is Black America Like That?" And as you can see by the view count, man, it's doing better than pretty much all his other videos. It just shows you that Black people are the trending topic.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he got a video defining fascism. That joint is like barely cracking 100. The curse of Eve, the biblical ordinances of feminism. That's at 77. And the curse of Adam. Yeah.
Let's watch this video.
Let's not beat around the bush. You've seen the clips. You've seen the statistics. The wanton disregard.
First of all, just listening to his accent, he isn't even from America. So he has no interactions with Black
Americans. He's just seeing things on social media. And if we're going to go off of things that we see off of social media, he was talking up. There was a video of somebody, I don't know if they were stealing or if they were like fighting a gas station. I can put up a video right here of that same thing happening with a white person. He pulled up something about a Black man raping a toddler. I can do the same thing. What are we doing? I can do the same thing with white people. What are we doing? Because these issues are not y'all are making it a race thing when it's not a fucking race thing. It's not.
Starting off, we've seen the clips. We've seen this. What first-hand experience do you have? So already off to a horrible start.
For public order, the absurd crime rates, fatherlessness, and the constant acts of self-sabotage. So why is Black America like that? Academics love to blame racism for any disparity between groups. It's their default excuse.
Listen to me, sir. America is rooted in racism. It got rich off of it. Slavery. Not even talking about that. America is rooted in racism. It got rich.
I know y'all be with the facts, so let's read this fact out too. Slavery generated immense wealth, with enslaved people producing an estimated $500 million in output by 1860, and the evaluation as capital assets totaling nearly 2.7 billion to 4 billion. By 1860, enslaved labor accounted for over 60% of the nation's wealth. 60% of the U.S.'s wealth at that time came from slavery, with prime field hands worth up to $40,000 in 2020 dollars. So yeah,
off of it. Slavery. Not even talking about that. Normal, everyday things are rooted in racism. This is why I say you're not even American, so you couldn't even grasp this. Just me walking outside, I may walk upon different street names under the title of former slave owners, former Confederates, white supremacists. We're going to schools named after these people. So it's already brainwashing on like a psychological level. Even bringing up things such as HOAs that are in some suburban neighborhoods. These were founded off of racism. The reason there are suburbs, racism, redlining, even when you're going out to eat, things such as tipping, it was founded on racism. So I can go on and on and on about ordinary things that are rooted in racism. But if you don't know the history and you're too ignorant to look into things, then you may see us as some victims that blame everything on racism. Even to bring up another example, Black women specifically are more likely to die in childbirth. Why is that? Just even going back a few months ago when the EBT thing hit, who was the news trying to portray as the biggest EBT users? Black people. Black women. The whole time, white people are some of the biggest beneficiaries of EBT. So I truly hate
And when some of these white racists hear that, they're like, oh my God.
This narrative that black people just label everything as racism. Well, if you look back, things are rooted in it. So yeah.
Designed to be an unfalsifiable, all-explaining ghost. So let's put it to the test. Because in this video, I'm not comparing Black Americans to other racial groups. Instead, I'm comparing the character of modern Black America to pre-civil rights Black America.
Pre-1960, 1960 is a historical turning point where we start to see, okay, we gonna get into it.
A people which we can all agree suffered vastly more discrimination than modern blacks. Let's start with the most obvious, crime. Around 1960, black male homicide victimization, which works as a proxy for offending rates, was already at a staggering 42 per 100,000.
Okay.
By 1970, after civil rights, that rate nearly doubled.
And do you want to know why it went up in the 1970s, sir? During this time, we started seeing a lot of black revolutionaries, okay? Malcolm X, MLK, the Black Panthers, Fred Hampton. So many of these black leaders that started to step up and try to take a charge. So because of this, the FBI director, J. Edgar Hoover, came out with COINTELPRO. So I'm going to put all the links in the description. But as you can see, COINTELPRO on the FBI vault. Black extremists. We have 23 parts of COINTELPRO. Now here is a specific part of this document. As you can read it.
Prevents the coalition of militant black nationalist groups. In unity, there is strength. I think that says truism, if I'm not mistaken. That is no less valid for all of its triteness. An effective coalition of black nationalist groups might be the first step towards a real... I don't even know what that says right there. In America, the beginning of a true black revolution. To prevent the rise of a messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Malcolm X might have been such a messiah. He is the martyr of the movement today. Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael, and Elijah Muhammad all aspire to this position. Elijah Muhammad is less of a threat because of his age. King could be a very real contender for this position should he abandon his supposed obedience. Man, y'all see how this is, bruh? And this is back in the 60s and 70s.
It says, prevent the coalition of militant black nationalist groups. In unity, there is strength. An effective coalition of black nationalist groups might be the first step towards a real, I can't read that, in America, the beginning of a true black revolution. And for two, as you can see, it says, prevent the rise of a messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Malcolm X might have been a messiah. He is the martyr of the movement today. Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael, and Elijah Muhammad all aspired to this position. But the one that they was really talking about was Fred Hampton, who they later killed in 1969. So
Rest
man, hey, I don't be lying when I say this stuff. Here is even more proof of how they targeted us. So right here we have the national response to Richard Nixon's Black Capitalism Initiative. Richard Nixon viewed an uncontrolled black power movement as a major threat to the internal security of the United States during the late 1960s and early 1970s. To address this situation, Nixon developed his Black Capitalism Initiative. The Nixon presidency offered African Americans the notion of black capitalism as an incentive to move away from the notion of burn, baby, burn. The evidence suggests that although Nixon did not achieve his institutional goals related to black capitalism, did indeed achieve his larger ideological goal of subverting African American radicalism. And do you wonder why in 2026 we have no more Malcolm X's, we have no more MLK's?
Because of shit like this. Because of all of this, what y'all just saw is the reason why. Because I've been seeing a lot of people being like, oh, why don't we have any more Martin Luther Kings, any more Malcolm X's, any more Fred Hamptons? The list goes on. Because of shit like this. They've been trying to get people like that out of here because they know what happens when a Malcolm X or a Martin Luther King or a Fred Hampton comes up. It's unification of a lot of black people. And for some weird reason, these higher ups, the people in the government, white higher ups in general think that black unity is a threat, think that black unity is a very serious problem. I don't know why, but they do. Probably associated with racism, but yeah.
Capitalists. So already they started to dismantle our black leadership because it was starting to peak. Even moving past this, in the 1970s, this is where we started to see the chemical warfare start to happen. So I typed in, when did heroin start to mess up black America? Heroin didn't suddenly appear in one moment. It spread in waves, and the timing depended on the city. But the period when it became a major visible problem in many black urban communities was in the late 1960s through the 1970s. After the Vietnam War era, heroin became more available in the US. Some returning soldiers had been exposed to it overseas, and international trafficking networks expanded. At the same time, distribution increased in cities like New York, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. By the early 1970s, heroin use had become widespread in many low-income urban neighborhoods. Addiction rates climbed, and with that came increases in overdose deaths, property crime, and community destabilization. Why it hit some black communities especially hard. Economic stress, job losses, and declining urban economics made some neighborhoods more vulnerable. Segregation, drug markets concentrated in areas already isolated by housing discrimination, limited treatment access, and policing approach. Now, by the late 1970s and 1980s, shift toward other drugs. Heroin made an issue, but attention shifted as a new drug
crack
emerged, especially
era.
crack cocaine in the
Holy.
1980s. The crack epidemic was so bad, and I feel like it is downplayed. It messed up our community.
The crack epidemic.
Badly bad. Man, I could probably call my mom or call my dad and ask them, how bad did crack mess up your communities? My mom in Brooklyn, New York. My dad in Clarendon, Pennsylvania. I guarantee you right now, I call them both, they will have the same similar story. And I'm pretty sure some of you watching this were black, because I think a lot of the people that watch me are black. Your parents probably have stories from the crack era. Your parents' parents probably got stories from the crack era. That shit affected people on a multifaceted level. And people still but downplay it like it wasn't bad. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even talking from experience. I'm talking about from what I've heard from people who were around during that time. I'm only 20 years old, so obviously I wasn't around when that shit was happening. But the stories I've heard, the people who are still fucked up today behind it, the communities, the hoods, the ghettos that are still fucked up by it today. Ah, damn, man.
The war on drugs. The reason why a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old want to walk around in a shiesty mask is because of the crack era. It's literally because of that. That's from the crack era. You can go spend $50 and come up on $200 in a day. So you do that 5 times in one day. As addicted as people are to crack, you just came up on a wreck. Now you can go buy your own ounce. You in the game off of $50. You dig what I'm saying? We talking about something that like completely obliterated our community in every aspect. Ronald Reagan and a full-scale CIA operation. It was a declaration of war on the black community. It was a chemical warfare. A lot of times when black people talk about the black community, when they talk about tight-knitness, when they talk about the family unit, well, us owning our own businesses, what they're talking about is pre-desegregation, right? And a lot of those movements happened pre-crack era too. You know, the Civil Rights Movement, the Black Panther Movement, the Black Empowerment Movement, period. All of that was squandered due to the war on drugs. Not only level of addiction, but we get breakdown of family dynamics, right? One person in your family being addicted to crack will literally ruin your whole family. When we talking about mothers and fathers, we talking about women who have been like the women who raised America, black women who raised America. Up until probably about 20 years prior to the crack epidemic,
Man, my dad had friends who, throughout high school, good people. Clairton was a steel mill city, and if anybody knows about them steel mill cities, you know that a lot of them are messed up today. But back when my dad was in high school, Clairton was booming, popping. Some of my dad's friends that were working on that mill got on crack, and those people haven't been the same since. And I know because my dad took me and my sister to Clarendon one day and started pointing out people. Dog, oh my God. He started pointing out people. Oh yeah, her right there. That was Gina, bro. That was one of my favorite people in high school, man. Me and her used to talk all the time. She got on crack. Jerry, me and him used to play football and we used to work on a steel mill together. He got on crack. And you see these people and it's just, oh my God, bro. So when Deontay Kyle says one person on crack will literally ruin the whole family, he literally means that. Those families that those people were from got ruined. Just off of, y'all, if you don't understand how crazy, how diabolical, how just crazy that is, I don't know what to tell you.
Still raising white people children. The mothers of America were addicted to drugs and like completely abandoning their children.
Yeah.
The breakdowns of businesses, the breakdown of black trust, the breakdown of black love, exploiting our community for our own profit. All of these things happen in this thing where we also get an onset of like all of these things, all these organizations that were once here to protect us have now become warring factions and gangs predicated on violence and drug trade. So we enriching ourselves off of the destruction of ourselves. But look at the effects that it had. We talk about, oh, we don't do business with each other. Oh, we don't do this. It's because like we learned how to hustle. Instead of doing business, we became hustlers. So we just looking for the quick flip. We're looking for instant gratification. It just fucked everything up, like literally.
So in summary, man, things such as them killing all of our leaders, chemical warfare, redlining, this is why we've seen a jump of crime from the 1960s to the 1970s.
To 78 per 100,000. And today it rests at about 50 per 100,000. Still an increase from pre-civil rights time, despite the rest of the world going on a massive trend of decreasing crime rates. You might have heard the statistic that black people, being only 13% of the population, commit more than half the crime. But it is actually worse than that.
Okay,
less than 1% of the black community in America will be arrested for a crime this year. Less than 1% of the black community will be of the black population will be arrested for a crime this year. Less than 1%. So I think Antonio might make the same point, but let's see what you guys say.
If anybody in 2026 still believes the 1350 rule, let's break it down. Whenever people use this stat, they're referring to the 2019 crime in the United States FBI data sheet. First of all, if you take a look at this chart, this is only talking about arrests. Only arrests, no convictions, no going to court. And you know the funny thing, y'all? Black people are profiled at the highest rates. And to add an icing on top, black people make up 53% of exoneration.
Yeah, I was going to bring up that point too.
Because it's not black people who are committing more than half the crime, but rather a specific subsection of them. Black grandmas aren't going around robbing stores at gunpoint. It's specific.
Like, look at like what he's saying. Bring me the dough, Crips. Like, you could tell he's just like one of those weird European.
Yeah, this nigga be watching Trap Lore. This nigga be watching people like Trap Lord Ross and Trap Geek and what's that other dude's name? Hood War Stories or something like that. These are all like white people talking about things going on in Black America and black people shit. You know what I'm saying? Mac Mula made a point about that shit too, man. Oh, dog. But yeah, they watch a Trap Geek video, they watch a Trap Lord Ross video, think that they could just talk about every facet of Black America. Oh, goddamn.
And dudes that sit online all day watching Trap Lord Ross, like
the young black males. And when we further control for variables, we start reaching population groups which we can almost guarantee are committing crime. This has pushed some estimates for murder rates among certain black male groups to be between 1 in 100 to 1 in 20. A rate of murder so unbelievably high, it makes the...
What was the point of BLM with black on black murders this high? Some racist cops are the least of your worries. Literally just an excuse to riot and loot. You do realize white on white murder rates is higher too, right? You do realize that I think the rate might have been 80 to 90% of the time, a white person is killed by another white person. So what are we talking about here?
Entire Black Lives Matter movement look like a joke.
Okay, look, okay, let's break this down too. So according to the 2019 thing, there were 13,927 murder victims. 54 of those victims were black, and 55% of the offenders were black. The way the dude was trying to make it seem is like black people are the only groups of people killing each other. No, most crime is interracial, and this is because crime is proximity based. If black people live near black people more, so they're going to have more problems with each other. This goes for white people living near each other. In poor white areas, this happens. Another thing, right? The way he's trying to spin it is like, oh,
I got people that live in certain parts of West Virginia who are white. Any crime that they see is white on white. Like, bro, if I call my dog Dakota right now and ask him, yo, the crimes that you have seen or the crimes that come up on your like local news, what is it? I guarantee you he'll say it's mostly white on white. Because crime is proximity based. Most Hispanic people get killed by other Hispanic people. Most Asian people get killed by other Asian people. And most white people get killed by other white people, just like how most black people get killed by other black people.
oh, most black people are out here killing each other. Most black men are just this violent group of people. No. Of these 13,000 murder victims, 55% of them were killed by black people. That is around, 7,000 something, 7,600, I believe. In America, there are 40 million black people. And to go even more specifically, there are 22 million black men, 22 to 24 million black men. So in whole, out of 22 million black men, 7,000 of them are committing murders. Do y'all know what percent of black men that is? 0.035% of 22 million. That's not even near 1% of black men living in America. When to justify it, most of this black on black crime, they like to call it, is due to gang violence that they could prevent.
People like Nick Fuentes and others will say black people should be in prison.
By the way, I'm still so appalled that a raccoon like Brandon Tatum is gonna say what he says here. I've seen this clip so many times. The first time I saw it, you people that watched that reaction where we saw this, bro, I damn near thought that this shit was AI. I thought that this was AI. I thought Sora AI done got my ass. God damn it, you know what I'm saying? But nope, this is real.
Well, let's look at the stats. Black people commit about 6,000 murders a year. 98% of us against other black people. That's 6,000 murderers. Mm-hmm. There's 40 million black people that live in America. The overwhelming majority of black people are not murdering anybody. The chance that you get struck by lightning is probably more than getting murdered by a black man. It's concentrated areas of poverty and violence. When I was a police officer, I noticed that white crime and poverty go together like black crime and poverty. The only difference is gang-related violence, which make black people go up another notch. Right. But when you talk about abandoning children, meaning fatherless homes, when you talk about people using violence, killing each other, stabbing each other, robbing, stealing, white people had the same rate of some of this stuff as when I grew up. White neighborhoods are
so it's not a race thing. It's about proximity and access to goods. Most of the crime that you see beyond any racial group, it is in poverty-stricken areas. The place I just named for you in West Virginia, West Virginia, they got crime in that motherfucker because, bro, you go to West Virginia or any place like that, it's poor. It's a bunch of trailer parks. You go to Canarsie or the South Side Bronx or South Jamaica, Queens. It's poverty-stricken areas. It's the same thing. You go to certain parts of California or hell, even here in Maryland, in Lexington Park, where a lot of Hispanic people be at. These are poverty-stricken areas where crime does happen. Because the crime thing isn't a racial thing. It's mostly about proximity and poverty. That's what it is. And all this white supremacist propaganda got y'all thinking that crime is a racial thing, when in actuality, a majority of the time, it's proximity and less access to goods.
Don't want to live. The poor, impoverished white neighborhoods.
But what these people love to do is paint black people as the problem with the whole country. When in fact, based off of the FBI stats, white people make up 69% of all crime. All of the crime. And I'll say this time and time again.
Let's see that again. Let's see this again. We see this right here. Using the FBI's 2019 data from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Keep in mind, he's using that he's using that right there. The FBI, the 2019 data, data that y'all love to bring up so much, that dumbass 1350 statistic. We go over here. Overall arrests by race in 2019. White, 69.4% of all arrests. Black or African American, 26.6%. And the other races, that means I'm guessing Hispanic and Asian, Native American. I don't think America counts Native American as a race. I don't think they do. Man, I need to make a video about Native Americans at some point, bro, because their stories need to be heard for sure. But yeah, I hope y'all are seeing this. I hope y'all are seeing this, bro. All the people that were commenting on my all the people that were commenting on my don't just hold black people accountable, hold everybody accountable video. I hope y'all see this shit. I hope y'all do.
Percent of all crime, all of the crime. And I'll say this time and time again, these people love talking about the black problem, but I'm sorry, black people, yeah, we're killing each other. That shit is messed up. But
yes,
y'all have rampant pedophilia in y'all communities. The suicide rates are out of the ass. Might I add another stat? White men make up 29% of American population, but commit 71% of the child, you know what crime?
The number one offender type is biological fathers, but by far, it is being done by middle-aged Caucasian men. Many, over half of them, college graduates. Many of them are educated, good jobs. This isn't just who we're thinking about. Like they're technical savvy, and I think that it is time that we call them out. Like that. We can't stand by and stand back. Like we have to stand up and say, not only are we not doing our job as men, it's actually the opposite. Instead of being defenders and protectors of our families, we're hurting and abusing.
Every one of those red dot maps is a unique IP address that is downloaded, shared, or distributing child rape images.
Oh my fucking God. Look at this. Hold on. Can I zoom in on this? I'm tech savvy, but I'm not too tech savvy, if you understand what I'm saying. But fucking God. And a lot of these IPs are in the East Coast or like the Midwest area. God damn, fool. Oh my fucking God. Oh.
All under the age of 12, and that's just a 6-month screenshot of it, and there are over 338,000 on there. There's blue dots on there. You can't really see them, but the blue ones are the ones that are under investigation.
With about 90%.
Y'all can barely see the blue dots on there. These are the ones that are being investigated. The red ones ain't even been found yet. Aren't being investigated.
You can't really see them, but the blue ones are the ones that are under investigation.
With about 90% of those murder rates victimizing other blacks, it was never racist white cops that needed to hear about Black Lives Mattering, but rather the black youth. So why are the black youth so out of control? The next statistic I want to bring up is fatherlessness.
Gaga, pass me the chocolate milk before I put a cap in your ass. I want to see this person go into a debate with somebody from America. They don't even got to be black. Like, I mean, I would prefer it if it was a black American, somebody like Antonio Speaks or like Young Don or somebody like me or something like that. But dog, bro, this
which has a clear causal link with criminality. Despite blacks in the 1940s suffering literal segregation and vastly higher poverty rates, their families were much stronger. Back then, only 15 to 19% of...
And once again, Why do y'all think out of nowhere things like this just happened?
Yeah, why do you think things got worse? Why do you think things got worse, bro? After all that Antonio said, how do you
You think, yeah, they just got out of
man.
this out of nowhere. During this time, these people were so strategic with things that they started to do. We could talk about the Welfare Act. It's not the act, but basically, if you wanted help from the government, you would have to kick the black man out of the home. So you could use that as a reason why things kind of went down moving past the 1940s. Once again, they don't take account things such as mass incarceration or these chemical warfare, the crack epidemic, the heroin that ended up messing up these homes. I don't make excuses for any deadbeat. Like I say, I'm a father, I'm married, I have 3 kids of my own, and I'm much very well in my kids' life. My dad was in my life. I know multiple black people with dads in their lives. Like I said, this dude has probably never even interacted.
Shout out to my
with a black
pops,
dude,
bro.
but
I
you're
love you for life. Shout out to my dad. That's the realest man I ever met.
over here talking. Like, why are y'all so comfortable with talking about our problems that don't even affect you?
Black children were born to unmarried mothers. Today, that number is 70 to 78%. If you'd rather go by parental presence, today less than half of black children grow up in a 2-parent household, as opposed to pre-civil rights, at about 78% living with both parents.
And why do you think that's the case?
The worst statistics for fatherlessness worldwide. But why has the black family been so thoroughly eviscerated? After civil rights, Democrat strategy shifted to appeal to the
Oh shit! Here he goes. Starting to blame the Democrats. Here we go. Now, like I said before in previous videos, I'm not for either party. I'm more identified with like being independent for real. I feel like neither party is for us or really for anybody. If I'm gonna be real, especially if you a POC. But
black voter base. And what do statists usually do for votes? They promise free stuff. The war on poverty, as it was called, had begun through massive federal welfare. But the welfare was conditional for those who, quote, needed it, and determined largely by whether or not a father was present. If a father was not present, single mothers could be eligible for welfare.
Okay, I'm glad that he's bringing that up because that
if he can bring this up, why couldn't he? You know what? Okay.
It happened. I'm not a fan of both parties, Republican, Democrat. A lot of it is bullshit on both sides. So I'm not excusing this right here. But like I say, when they hop online and they make these videos, but like he has a lot of racist antics in here. Like I could tell the type of content he watched. He didn't make this video trying to understand why black people had this problem. He made this because he understands that talking about black people online gets you views.
He did how much money a low-income worker would get. In other words, the government directly incentivized black women to divorce their husbands and marry the state. The policy outcomes cannot be denied. All reversals of black America's progress started during this period. The state, of course, had to justify the cost of this massive welfare scheme to the rest of the American population, claiming that it was the white man's burden. Historical injustice had created this poverty, and so it was white people's jobs to fix it. Since the black fathers were now removed from the picture, black families lost their own protectors and providers, and so this became a permanent situation. Should we be surprised that young black men who grew up without a father live in a society that sabotaged the main source of commitment in a man's life, marriage, and are taught not to take responsibility for their own lives, and that all their problems are white people's fault?
Like, look at the type of stuff. Remember, everything is white people's fault. That's
Use
not.
Kangs.
That is not that.
With a Jeezy at the end.
You guys only look like, you have to understand. You have to have nuance to things. Y'all try to demonize the black community, but don't understand how it got the way that it got. So when we bring up things that happened historically, now we're playing victim. Now we're saying it's all white people's fault. Well, a lot of this stems from racism. I'm not saying that we can't be successful, man. We overcome so much shit. But we still have to look back and see why there is some dysfunction still in the black community. Things did happen. Slavery, 400 years of brutal, a genocide attempt, Jim Crow, segregation, going through all this type of trauma. And then even when we try to get ourselves together, you kill all of our leaders, sabotage our communities, and then be like, look, why are y'all like this? Well, if we bring it up, then we're victims. It's so frustrating, bro. It's
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Arguing to narcissists and people that
that they would become disenfranchised and delinquent. Therefore, what we're left with today is a perpetual underclass, which abandon their families, murder their own brothers, and forsake the rule of law, kept financially afloat by guilt-tripping the same people they blame for all their problems.
Yeah, y'all. You listen, bro.
Yo, dog, where is he getting some of these images from? Where is he getting some of these images from, dog?
Oh my, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stop falling for the propaganda. Do your own research. Stop falling for the 1350 stat. It is completely false. And yeah, bro, I'm just truly fed up, man.
Yeah, please, for the love of God, if there's anything, I said for the love of God, bro, if there's anything that I can encourage you to do, and that I have been encouraging throughout my time being on YouTube, is to do your own goddamn research. You can hear the things that I've said, and I've obviously put up some facts, some statistics here, stuff like that. But please do your own research. Please, 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 please. We need to bring back people doing their own research, people looking into things and stuff like that. Because if you don't, if you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. Case in point, there are hella people falling for this white propaganda that, oh, all black people are bad, all black people are criminals, all black people are this, that, and the third. Antonio just did a video recently that I saw talking about Japanese people and how some of the white supremacist propaganda has gone on to them too. Them being like, oh, there's a bunch of black people in my neighborhood and I'm scared because what if one of them pins me down and like does something to me? And it's like, why would you even think that? But then you gotta think, white supremacist propaganda has reached every possible part of the world. So yeah, let me know what you thought about this in the comments. Love y'all so much. Marso Mafia the game, Marso Mob the squad. This is probably gonna be a very long video. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace.